Good evening to you. Manchester City had a Champions League campaign to forget last season, and until the dying embers of their game in Monaco at the start of this month, Pep's men look set to kick off this campaign with back-to-back wins before a late penalty deprived them of maximum points. Now City travel to eastern Spain to face Villarreal on an 8-match unbeaten run since late August. Can they keep that going against the side who currently sit third in La Liga? You're about to find out right here on Talksport 2.
Tip over the top for Haaland, who's tried to get round the back with a little touch. Oh, what a finish and what a goal!
He's just a born striker who loves scoring goals.
Manchester City, who've dominated this game, have been caught in stoppage time. Monaco 2, Manchester City 2.
He can't believe how his 2 goals have not won his side the game.
They are winning games. They're having opportunities to go and kill the game off, and they're missing big chances. When they were at their best, they never did that.
If we go through and we get better and better, we'll be a contender.
We had a season, an off-season, but I think we've got as good a chance as anyone to win the Champions League.
Cross to the back post, Vega's header! Vega clinical!
You know, to do good things, you have to do better.
I'm Ian Dancer. Dean Ashton, former England striker, is alongside me. Welcome to Champions League Live on Talksport 2. Villarreal, Manchester City kicks off at 8 p.m. at the Estadio de la Ceramica in the province of Villarreal, at a stadium that holds 23,000 people, which is roughly half the population size of the town of Villarreal itself. It's a wonderful success story, this club back in the Champions League, but we've already seen them against English opposition in this season's competition. They lost 1-0 at Tottenham Hotspur on the opening match night. How will they fare against the Champions League winners from a couple of seasons ago? Let's run you through the team news ahead of kick-off. Manchester City will start with them. They make 4 changes from the 11 that started the game against Everton on Saturday, a game that City won by 2 Erling Haaland goals to 0. Gianluigi Donnarumma is in goal. A back 4 of Matheus Nunes, John Stones, Ruben Dias and Josko Gvardiol. Stones and Gvardiol coming into that back line. Looks like 3 in midfield. Nico Gonzalez, who was excellent against the Toffees on Saturday. The recalled Rico Lewis and Bernardo Silva with him in midfield. And then Savinho and Jeremy Doku flanking Erling Haaland in attack for Manchester City. On their bench, Trafford and Bettinelli, the keepers. Reinders, Ake, Marmoush, Kovacic, Cherki, Ait-Nouri, O'Reilly, Foden and Bob. As for Villarreal, they made 8 changes for their weekend draw in La Liga against Betis in preparation for this Champions League match. And Marcelinho, the manager, makes 7 changes for tonight's game, bringing a lot of those players back. He's also brought back Juan Foyt, once at Tottenham Hotspur, who's recovered a little earlier than expected from injury, to play in the back 4. They play a 4-4-2, Villarreal. Luis Junior is the goalkeeper. Santiago Mourinho, Juan Foyt, Renato Vega, once of Chelsea, and Alfonso Pedraza are the back 4. From right to left in midfield, it's Tyjon Buchanan, Santi Comasagna, Thomas Partey, once of Arsenal, and Papa Gueye. And then 2 names up front that you should be familiar with, certainly Nicola Pepe, once of Arsenal, and the Georgian striker, George Mikotadze. And on the bench for the Yellow Submarine, Conde and Tenas, the goalkeepers, Altimira, Marin, Mana Solomon on loan from Spurs, Gerard Moreno, Parejo, Akhomach, Molero, Uluwasei, Ayose Perez, once of Leicester and Newcastle, and Cardona. So those are the teams for you. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. I'm in partnership with Dean Ashton in commentary tonight. What do you make of that City lineup and how Pep has arranged his 11, Dean?
Yeah, it seems that a few have been given a chance. Whether we see Nunes in midfield or Lewis, we'll wait to see once the match kicks off. But of course, you've got that trickery and dribbling ability out wide to try and free up the space for Haaland, who just looks unstoppable right now.
And with Villarreal, we need to give them a lot of respect because they're currently sitting 3rd in La Liga. It might be rare for them to be in the Champions League good and proper, but they've earned their position by virtue of finishing 5th in La Liga last season, and they appear to have carried that form into this season too.
They have, very much so here as well in this stadium. They are top in La Liga for home form. They're 11th away from home, so clearly here at their home ground. They are a difficult team to play, certainly in La Liga. And this won't be a breeze for City, but you would still expect them to have so much quality, to cause problems to Villarreal. But it's great to see this team, this stadium, back in the Champions League.
Used to be known as the Madrigal, now known as the Estadio de la Ceramica, to highlight the trade, the industry in this particular part of eastern Spain. And you're absolutely right, Dean, about that home form. It also converts into European matches, because Villarreal have been beaten in only one of their last 10 home European games, the majority of which have been in the Europa League. But nevertheless, 6 wins and 3 draws is pretty good in their last 10. I wonder if that's affected the odds ahead of tonight, although City must surely be heavy favourites with English punters. Let's get the latest odds with our friends at William Hill.
In the Zone on Talksport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
So, Dave Kellner from William Hill, does it mean anything to your odds compilers that the Yellow Submarine have only been beaten in one of their last 10 at home in Europe?
It means absolutely nothing. Manchester City, long odds on to win this game. They're 4-6 Man City. Over 95% of bets in the 90 minutes market have been on Manchester City in this game at 4-6. The draw's 14-5, Villarreal in the betting at 19-5. You can understand why City are so short. As you mentioned, you've got that weight of English cash, and of course City unbeaten since late August as well. 4-6 in the market. Epic boost available, and we've got to focus on the main man, haven't we? The machine, Erling Haaland, for him to score or assist in the match. Impact sub applies as well. That was 2-5. That's even money. And that's a bet that's landed in Haaland's last 11 matches for club and country. Haaland to score or assist is even money with William Hill's Epic Boost. Haaland's very popular in the goal-scoring markets as well. He's got 21 goals in his last 11 matches for club and country. For him to score first, it's available at 2-1. For him to score 2 or more is 5-2. And the hat-trick is in the betting at 17-2. This is a Bet Builder winnings boost game with William Hill as well. You get a 25% boost on your Bet Builders. I'm looking at Manchester City to win the game, Erling Haaland to score, and have a look at Thomas Partey to be shown a card in the match. That's available at 6-1, and of course with that 25% boost on top of that, 7.5-1. Thomas Partey, obviously a combative midfielder when he was with Arsenal, and he was booked in 3 of his 6 appearances against City when playing for Arsenal as well. City 4-6 to win this game. The draw 14-5 with Villarreal in the betting at 19-5. City odds on.
Thank you very much, Dave. That's all the odds. Thanks to our friends at William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on Talksport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Lovely to see Rodri out there on the pitch. He can't play tonight because of injury, but he was a former Villarreal player, and he's just had a lovely ovation, Dean Ashton, from around this stadium. They don't forget quality players wherever you are.
No, and of course they were just honouring the fact that he was the Ballon d'Or winner, of course, and starting his career here. I'm sure those fans feel that they were a part to play in that.
Yeah, he went on to Atletico and then, of course, to Manchester City, and he has been fantastic, but he's absent. That said, Nico Gonzalez appears to be warming to his task, Dean, of being that replacement midfielder in the engine room if Rodri's not around, typified by his performance against Everton on Saturday.
Yeah, I think physically he's starting to adapt to the Premier League and to the demands of Pep Guardiola and the Manchester City team and the way that they play, and the demands on that position, especially with the way that they play and the full-backs like to get forward. There's a lot of onus on that position to cover the ground, to spot danger. He's starting to do that better, and he's still very young, so it's going to take time, of course.
I mentioned the familiar names to TalkSport 2 listeners in the Villarreal lineup that have got Premier League experience. You've got 2 guys in Juan Foyt and Renato Vega, one from Spurs of old, one from Chelsea, who have to deal with Mr. Haaland tonight. I don't know how you feel as a centre-half, even if you're just warming up and you casually look into the other half of the pitch and see that brooding figure of Haaland going through the motion, just smashing balls in the back of the net. Can't be any good for your psyche, can it?
Not really, no. I think he does beat a lot of centre-backs probably before the game and in the tunnel, just from his sheer size and his aura that he has. But I think what's impressive about Haaland is that he goes up against all types that have now tried certain ways to get the better of him, to physically bully him, which he then starts to enjoy and laughs about, whether it's the verbals. Again, he won't be drawn into that. He's so mentally strong that he will test you in every which way that you try to put him off. It doesn't seem to affect him.
And there are other names that we know. Nicola Pepe didn't really catch fire at Arsenal when he played there, but I do like George Mikotadze, the Georgian striker, up top with him. So there are threats that Manchester City have to be wary of tonight.
Oh, certainly. And they haven't struggled to score this season. Certainly in La Liga, that hasn't been an issue for them. They've got good attacking players. Buchanan as well will be a threat, their top scorer in La Liga. But you're right, Pepe maybe wasn't suited to the Premier League, but has shown that he is a quality player in a different league. And Mikotadze, as we've seen, for his country can be a quality player. It's just how much of a chance are they going to get? How much possession are they going to relinquish to Manchester City this evening?
There are a couple of, well, quite a few games in the EFL tonight which are already underway as we're just coming up to 8 o'clock. In League 2, there's only one game in League 2 tonight, and Notts County starting the evening in ninth, lead at Swindon Town through an early goal from Connor Grant. Hull City are 1-0 up on Leicester in the Championship through Liam Miller on 6 minutes. And Millwall, starting the night in 6th, are at home to third place Stoke. And Millwall lead through another goal from Femi Aziz. What a start Alex Neil and Millwall are having in the Championship. You can hear the familiar strains of the Champions League theme around Estadio de la Ceramica. Both sets of players are out of the tunnel and lining up next to our Dutch referee, Serdar Gazubiuk. I do hope I pronounced that correctly. He is Dutch, but he's clearly of Turkish descent, with umlauts everywhere in his surname Serdar Gazubiuk. My apologies if I've got that wrong. But hopefully we won't have to talk about him too much, and we'll just be talking about the players on the show. And watching Jeremy Doku of late play for club and for country, Dean Ashton, he's just a joy to watch. For Belgium against Wales, for about half an hour, he's totally unplayable.
He's got that about him. He does become unplayable with the way he can shift the ball. The sharpness of his movement can be devastating to play against. It's now just, can he add genuine end product to that ability that he's got to take a player on? Can he now start to get goals to add to his City career?
You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Over on Talksport, they're bringing you full commentary of Newcastle's home tie against Benfica. Also updates on Talksport of Arsenal at home to another Spanish side, Atletico Madrid, pitching up at Emirates Stadium tonight. But here on Talksport 2, our concentration is on Pep Guardiola and Manchester City as he shakes hand with Marcelino. He's never lost, Pep Guardiola, against Villarreal as a manager. 5 wins and 3 draws. He last faced, here's a boring stat for you. He last faced Marcelino back in 2011 when Barcelona drew 0-0 with Sevilla, who Marcelino was managing at the time. That makes it 5,113 days since they last faced each other. That's the longest spell Pep's ever had between managing games against one particular opponent. There you go. That's a good one for the pub quiz.
That's why I love you guys, honestly.
It's, too much spare time on my hands, I suppose. So, Manchester City are in their change strip tonight of green. Villarreal, as you might expect, in their all yellow, in this stadium that is pretty much all yellow, apart from a few corporate seats, which are a navy blue, but such a striking stadium, and it's been upgraded. They've been at this particular ground for over 100 years, Villarreal, but it was updated for the Champions League about 20 years ago, and it's had a bit more remodelling in the past 3 or 4 seasons, and it looks an absolute picture, but it still only holds about 23,000 spectators, but they make enough noise for that. So it will be City in their dark green away strip who will be attacking the goal to our right hand side, and they get the game underway as Erling Haaland rolls the ball back to John Stones, and Nunez in the right back position, as he has been quite a lot recently. Rolls it across the back line and it goes out to the left hand side of Jeremy Doku, but he gives possession up, and Villarreal have the ball in central midfield, giving it away to Bernardo Silva. Finds Haaland into the area, gives it back to Silva. Can Doku get the shot in? It's pushed away by Luis Junior, and within 30 seconds Manchester City could have found themselves in front.
But they were so sloppy with that opportunity. That should have been zipped across. Haaland's pass was short. Savinho's was behind Doku. Doku couldn't get his feet sorted out, and it was a tame effort that was easily saved by Luis Junior. But they were sharp in the press. I thought Haaland might take it himself. He didn't. He was unselfish to find Savinho, but then it was scruffy from then on.
So 0-0 in the early stages, but quite a scare for the home side, as Pedraza, the left back, floats a long ball downfield. It's headed down but picked up by the City midfield, and here's Rico Lewis, one of 4 players brought in tonight by Pep Guardiola from the weekend win over Everton, which worked back to Matheus Nunez. We're in the second minute of this Champions League encounter on match day 3. City, who beat Napoli convincingly. We brought that game to you on Talksport 2 on match day 1, 2-0 against Antonio Conte's side, and then they were so close to wrapping up all 3 points in the Stade Louis II against Monaco, only for an Eric Dyer penalty to snatch a point for the French team. And we're with Monaco tomorrow night on Talksport 2 as they take on Spurs. Here come Villarreal for the first time down the left-hand side with Buchanan, the Canadian international, tries to play the ball across the face of goal, well defended by Nunez, and then the ball is cleared against the referee, who says, sorry about that, uncontested drop ball. It's 0-0, and we played a couple of minutes in eastern Spain on Talksport 2.
Yeah, that was sloppy though from Guardiola, just trying to play a cross-field pass, undercooked it. Buchanan was onto it, good bit of body movement, but never really committed Stones. And in the end, it was good cover by Gonzalez just to help out John Stones,
who's in the centre circle now. Just plays the ball to his right for Nunez, just shy of the halfway line. Plays it around the corner. Stones will pick it up and give it in field to Nico Gonzalez. Works it out early to Doku down the City left. Takes it further down the byline to Bernardo Silva, clips it across. Haaland with a header, it's wide by a good 2 or 3 yards, and he puts his hands over his face, disappointed that he didn't hit the target. Erling Haaland, 0-0.
Oh, it's a terrible header really from Erling Haaland, because it's a lovely little clipped ball in from Bernardo Silva, just hung it up to around the penalty spot for Erling Haaland. He had no one contesting against him, and he's gone to head it towards goal, and it's hit the side of his head. He's just turned his head too quickly. He's bounced off the side of his head and gone horribly wide.
When you think about the quality of the header with which he scored from a fairly similar cross from Nico O'Reilly on Saturday, that was not what Erling Haaland intended. If you were listening to Adrian Durham in our build-up earlier, you know that Erling Haaland has only failed to score once this season in a competitive match for club or country, and that was for City against Tottenham Hotspur. Other than that, always on the mark. 3 minutes gone. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 0. Nunez for the visitors. Plays the ball in field for Nico Gonzalez, just ahead of the centre circle. Options right and left. Knocks it back to Nunez. Stones pushing out from the back line a lot. It's almost like a back 3 for Manchester City a lot of the time. Ball bypasses Stones. They go in field. Across it goes to the left-hand side, and Doku, who's trying to get the better of a couple of Villarreal players, and he's being bought too much by Santiago Mourinho, the right back. And the referee's given Manchester City a free kick, 0-0.
Well, you just think you can win it. Mourinho there just thought, I'll have a little stab at it, and he's too quick, he's too sharp. Here's Jeremy Doku. He just shimmies away from him, and then that extra bit of pressure and the referee was always going to blow his whistle there.
So a free kick to Manchester City, midway point of the Villarreal half, but out on the far left-hand side. So this ball's going to be swung in by the City captain, Bernardo Silva, away from the goalkeeper. Lovely delivery, out comes the keeper, gets a fist to it, drops at the edge of the area, and Savinho tried to bring it down facing the goal, but ended up having to go back to the edge of the centre circle for Nunez. Bernardo Silva again, just clips the ball out left for Doku. He's going to try and run past his man from a standing start. Up against Papagay, who's playing on the right-hand side of midfield for Villarreal. Nico Gonzalez finds Rico Lewis, midway point of the Villarreal half. Now he plays it out to the right wing for Savinho. Cuts in on his left foot, works the ball into the box, headed away by Vega, but only as far again as the City back line on halfway. Savinho again picks it up and has to go back into his own half. Nunez will knock it back to Ruben Diaz. Now Josko Gvardiol. Definitely Stone's quite happy to push out from that back four a lot, Dean Ashton.
And why not? You know, Villarreal are sitting deep, they're allowing that space. He's got the ability to do it. Go and find a bit of space and receive it. Be that extra player in midfield.
Ball's played into the Villarreal area, but kept away from Haaland by Renato Vega, once of Chelsea. He joined in the summer for 20 million quid. Now they work it out to Papagay on the right-hand side. Chance for him to have a run. Nicola Pepe now. Got two players for company. Plays a little 1-2. Now Papagay again in the centre of the half. Floats a left-footed ball out to the left-hand side. Pedraza keeps it in possession, keeps it in play, does well. Trying to knock it back into central midfield, but Pepe had to really chase back towards the halfway line to keep possession for the hosts. Pedraza then works it back to Vega on halfway. Swindon 1, Notts County 1. Aaron Drinden scores again for Swindon, and Millwall are 2-0 up on Stoke City now in the Championship. Tristan Kramer up from the back to get the second for the London Lions, and we'll be at the Den on Saturday afternoon on Talksport 2 for our 3 o'clock Championship offering between Millwall and Leicester City, part of game day this coming weekend. Ball given away by Villarreal on halfway. Manchester City have it, try and work it out to Doku on the left hand side, but an important touch from Foyt. It's kept in play on the far side by Doku, works it back to Gvardiol. Now Diaz, just ahead of the centre circle. Villarreal got everybody back behind the ball as it's in the midway point of their own half. Gvardiol again, tucks it in field to Nico Gonzalez, who gives it back to Gvardiol. Paris Saint-Germain lead against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. Patch over the goal for Paris Saint-Germain. Here is Savinho, pulls the ball back from the byline. Rico Lewis took an early pot shot, but it was defended well at the near post. And now Villarreal are trying to counter. And away they go down the right-hand side. Kept in play by Comasagna. Threading it through to Mikotadze in the area. And he's been well marshalled by Matheus Nunez. Went to ground, the Georgian. No foul, said the referee. That's good defending on the cover from Matheus Nunez.
Yeah, it was. He is quick, actually, Nunez, when he gets going. He does shove the shoulder into the back, though, of Mikotadze, who I thought was favoured to get there, but felt the contact and went down rather than trying to test himself against Nunez.
Savinho again, right-hand corner of the Villarreal box, trying to get on the outside of Pedraza, but the left-back does well, in actual fact, for Villarreal. Wins possession back, and Buchanan finds Vega in field, and he just plays a long ball down to the halfway line, and Diaz almost dares Mikotadze to close down the space before he knocks it back to Donnarumma. 9 minutes gone on Talksport 2 in these early exchanges. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 0. No goals in the two games involving the other English sides tonight. Newcastle Benfica live on Talksport right now. Arsenal at home to Atletico Madrid, also goals. Here is Nunez, clipping the ball out quickly to Savinho, right-hand side, almost level with the 18-yard line. Stones knocks it in field, lovely one-touch passing from City, but they can't thread the ball through to Haaland, and then there's a foul as Villarreal try and bring the ball clear, and they have a free kick just outside their own penalty area. 0-0 here.
Well, total domination, you would say, from City, but it's not pedestrian. It's nice and sharp and it's crisp, the way they're moving the ball around, popping it into midfield and then waiting for the space for either Doku or Savinho to then allow them to be 1v1 against the fullback. A couple of chances already have come from those areas.
City have only won 2 of their last 9 Champions League matches, and they did labour to get through to the knockout stages. Yellow card has been issued there for a foul by Pedraza, who absolutely cleaned out Matias Nunez on that left-hand side. Very easy yellow card for the referee to give there, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, it was a sloppy pass from Pepe out towards Pedraza, and rather than letting Nunez go, knowing that there was a mistake and he was gone, he just, like you said, just cut right across him, thigh on thigh, took him out. He's now got himself an early yellow card.
Short free kick worked infield by City to the middle of the Villarreal half. Nico Gonzalez. Now it's worked out to Bernardo Silva again on this near side, the City right. Tries to work it infield to Stones. He elects to go back to halfway. And Nunez. Diaz has Guardiola just to his left-hand side. Barnsley 2, Manchester United under-21s 1 in the EFL Trophy tonight. And Nunez just showing a bit of frustration with the lack of movement he could see up ahead of him as he has possession just over halfway. And it is a bit stock still from those further down the pitch for Manchester City, 0-0.
A little bit, but it is so difficult when a team is this deep to find the space. That's nice though.
It is, and they're trying to get Rico Lewis down the inside right of the penalty area. Has to run away from the box just for a moment to keep possession, and then it's worked back by Nunez to Diaz once again, and patience will have to be a virtue for Manchester City this evening.
Yeah, patience to a point where you then, can you find that pass as Nunez did to Rico Lewis between the midfield, really fizzing that through and trusting your teammate.
Lovely ball from Stones out to Doku, trying to wrestle his way past Mourinho, the right back, but couldn't get the better of him. He wanted a free kick, the Belgian, but the referee saw nothing wrong with Santiago Mourinho's challenge. It's a goal kick to Villarreal. 12 minutes gone on Talksport 2. It's 0-0.
Yeah, that's going to be a good contest, isn't it? Doku against Mourinho there on that far side. Doku just wanted to push and run, and then physically Mourinho was too strong for him.
Cost 8 million quid did Santiago Mourinho to come from Atletico Madrid in the summer. Uruguayan has been sent off once already this season for the Yellow Submarine, who were trying to come forward down their left-hand side. Just knocks downfield, anywhere will do, to try and get Tajon Buchanan in behind Stones. Stones actually hits the ball quite cleverly against the midfielder, and it goes behind, and Donnarumma actually has something to do for the first time in 13 minutes and takes a short goal kick. Out to the left-hand side of Josko Gvardiol. The play's brought in by Pep Guardiola tonight. You're listening to Villarreal Manchester City. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you on Talksport 2 as Doku is found with a lovely searching ball out to the left-hand side, but Mourinho was right on him, and Dean Ashton's already mentioned that contest, and Mourinho comes out on top again on that occasion as Doku brings him down. A free kick to Villarreal, 0-0.
And you've got to be up for the task. You really have. As Villarreal almost give the ball away.
Boy, oh boy, did they.
You've got to be really up for the task against Doku. You cannot give him that space. Be physically imposing with him.
Fired across from Papagay from left to right. Trying to get Comasagna in behind, but it didn't quite work for Villarreal. They still have it though, the Yellow Submarine. It's floated down the right hand side. Mourinho giving chase in a forward motion. And it's a throw in to Villarreal, almost level with the 18-yard line. Knocked in field. Played out to the right-hand side. Mikutate and Buchanan waiting for a ball into the box. Comasagna loses out, and City should bring this away. Nico Gonzalez, lovely balance just to drop the shoulder and lose one particular player. Now he gets it back just shy of the centre circle in his own half. And City just calm things down as we approach the quarter-hour mark on Talksport 2. Doku, again, trying to get the better of his man on the near side. But again, Mourinho does well, but it's a throw to Manchester City pretty much bang on halfway. 0-0 the score. Back it goes to Ruben Diaz. And now John Stones collects it from the back three, as it is. It's definitely not a back four for Manchester City. Stones has got free rein to join in with the midfield. And he's quite enjoying that responsibility, although he's just hit an aimless ball back into his own half that forces Guardiola to have to run back 10 yards to collect.
But he's a terrific footballer, isn't he, John Stones? I think he's perfect for this era, isn't he? Real ball playing as he switches play beautifully there.
To find Savinho, right hand side, level with the edge of the area. Toe pokes the ball into the edge of the box, but there are enough players back there in yellow to get it clear. And now away they come down the left hand side with Mikotate. Almost got the better of Stones, who stuck his foot in at the optimum moment to win it back on halfway for City. And they've now knocked it in field for Nico Gonzalez, who's now got Mikotate at his back, just swerves away from him neatly. Plays it out to Savinho, right hand side. Just knocked in field for Stones once more. Now Savinho can have a run down the right hand side of the box, but elects to check. Stones once again clips it in field for Nunez, who's come forward on this occasion. Savinho has it back, level with the 18-yard line, right hand side for Manchester City at 0-0. Just taking the game down to walking pace now are the citizens. Stones again directing operations. Fires it out to Savinho. Down the right-hand side of the box for Rico Lewis. Across the face of goal. And guess who? Erling Haaland rifles it home from close range. He scored again this season. You just cannot stop Erling Haaland. He's in the mood to put Manchester City away and clear in this tie. They've pressurised since the opening whistle and they've got their goal. Haaland again, scoring his 53rd Champions League goal, makes it Villarreal 0, Manchester City 1.
The Norwegian juggernaut, Erling Haaland. I watched him as the play was starting to be built up. He was having a little wrestling match with one fight on the edge of the area. The ball was nowhere near them. I could just tell he was just waiting for that moment. He pulled Foyt's arm and then he was away. As soon as that was slid down the side to Rico Lewis and just pulled it back, Haaland was already away. It's like he'd sensed it when it was about to be his moment. And as it came across, he just did the most simplest of things, which is just calmly side-footed the ball past the goalkeeper. He made it look very, very easy.
To make it 37 goals in 33 group stage appearances for Manchester City. Extraordinary record that he's got, and of course don't forget his Dortmund days as well prior to his move to the Etihad. There is just no stopping Erling Braut Haaland. 1-0 then to the citizens. Goals elsewhere. Hull City have gone 2-0 up on Leicester. Joe Gelhardt with the second. Coventry City, the league leaders, are 1-0 up at Portsmouth through Brandon Thomas Asante. And Preston 0, Birmingham City 1. Phil Neumann up from the back to put Birmingham in front after a wretched run of no win in 4. But Manchester City had the goal that all their early pressure has richly deserved, Dean Ashton.
But just to give a bit of context to Erling Haaland and what he has to, I say, put up with, which is so much possession where he's not involved at all. He's just waiting. He's like us, he's just watching. He's probably commentating on it himself. He's just waiting for his moment and then he comes alive.
Might be another moment here as Rico Lewis comes forward to the right hand corner of the penalty area, jogs past his man, delays the cross. Was he brought down for a penalty? No, says the referee. Play on. Doku has joined him on the right hand side for City, knocks it back to Nunez, and they've worked it back into midfield now. Have the former Champions League winners at Manchester City, who look completely in control in eastern Spain as we approach the 20-minute mark. Nunez works it back into his own half just to give Donnarumma something to get his teeth into. Donnarumma's almost at the edge of the centre circle himself as he plays the ball into the feet of Josko Gvardiol. Now he's back in position on his 18-yard line, almost playing chicken with the front line of Villarreal, saying, come on, try and take the ball off me. Now here's Stones. It's found Nunez just shy of the halfway line. Quick ball into the feet of Rico Lewis, who flicks it out to Savinho on the right wing. They're using the right hand side a lot, Manchester City, in this opening quarter. Savinho tucks it in field for Stones, who lays it off for Nunez. Back it goes to Diaz, just inside the Villarreal half. Short pass into Nico Gonzalez. Now Guardiola takes over, inside left channel. Moving towards the midway point of the half. Doku, no room for him to squeeze down that left-hand side, so it's gone back in field for Manchester City, who lead by a 1-0 if you're just tuning into Champions League Live on this Tuesday evening on Talksport 2. Doku having another run at Mourinho down that far left-hand side for City. Knocked in field by Gonzalez for Nunez. Fired out to Savinho. They're working it left to right, looking for the angle, Manchester City. Little clip in field from Savinho for Stones. So happy to join in the attacking third of the pitch. Gonzalez, lovely ball with the outside of his right foot, nodded across the edge of the area. Silva goes in, can't get the effort, and there was a foul with a high foot by the Manchester City captain, and it ends up being a Villarreal free kick inside their own 6-yard box. But lovely interplay around the edge of the penalty area. Going to be a yellow card for Bernardo Silva for that challenge and the high boot. It's a free kick to Villarreal, but City lead by 1-0.
Yeah, it was brilliant movement, wasn't it? And that all comes from John Stones getting involved, becoming that extra player. It means then Rico Lewis can go further forwards and closer to Savinho and double up then against the Villarreal defence. Really well worked, waiting for the spare player, which ended up being Savinho, who headed it across, and then Bernardo Silva, in his willingness to try and get a goal for Manchester City, did raise his boot.
Not happy with the yellow card, as you might expect, shaking his head grimly as the decision was made by the Dutch referee. FC Copenhagen 0, Borussia Dortmund 1 in the Champions League. Felix Metscher puts Dortmund ahead in Denmark. Manchester City ahead on the Spanish coast with nearly a quarter of the game gone on Talksport 2. Just saw a replay again of Haaland's finish, which was just unerring. Just barely any backlift, and even though he put his right foot through it, that just fizzed past Luis Junior, who barely smelt it as it went past him into the back of the net. And Luis Junior about to take a goal kick for Villarreal at the midway point of this first half. Goes short to Foyt, who's immediately under pressure from Haaland. And under pressure, the former Spurs defender gets it half clear, but that's robbed by Manchester City, and Bernardo Silva works the ball back to Matheus Nunez next to the centre circle. Nico Gonzalez.
That's also what he gives you though, Haaland. He's not lazy. He will get after you. He'll close down, start a press. He's got that about him as well. He's a real team player. Lovely ball floated out to Savinho, right-hand side. He's offside, no, a handball against Savinho given by the assistant on this near side. Do you know what? If I had my back to Erling Haaland, he was running into me, I think I'd hear the footsteps. I think I'd hear him clumping on the ground, getting near me, which it's almost like Frankenstein's monster. You just know, oh goodness, I've got to get going here. And I think that's exactly what Juan Foyt thought to himself. I better get rid of this because he's right on top of me. He does cover the ground as well, doesn't he? Those big strides.
Yeah, it's magnificent to watch. Absolutely magnificent. Villarreal coming forward with their left back. Pedraza tries to whip a cross in, comes out off Nunez for a throw, not a corner, taken quickly by Pedraza. And it's knocked down for Papagay. Infield it goes for Partey. Once of Arsenal. Now back to the halfway line, and Renato Vega, former Chelsea man. Out to the right-hand side it goes. Villarreal just trying to keep possession for a bit here because they've been starved of the ball for long spells in this game. Pedraza again, the left-back, moves into the City half. Buchanan just ahead of him, but he's knocked it infield instead for Papagay, and he tried to fire it across to the right-hand side, but overcooked it out of play. Pepe was never going to catch that, and it's a throw to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, even though his team are 1-0 up and firmly in control, never usually the picture of happiness on the touchline. As usual, he's got something to say about the way his team are performing. In fact, they've just given him a reason to be upset because they've just needlessly given away a throw to Villarreal on that far side of the field. 25 minutes gone, 1-0 City.
I think what he won't want is to allow Villarreal to get a hold of the ball and to feel any confidence. Why would you? Keep that pressure on. Go and get the second.
Again, City a bit wasteful in possession on the halfway line. Pedraza has it left-hand side for the hosts. Works it back to Vega on halfway. Clips it out to the right-hand side. Pepe, well, he received the ball, but I think Comasagna was penalised for a foul. Trying to push through midfield on Guardiola. You're listening to Villarreal 0, Manchester City 1 in the Champions League. Live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Dean Ashton alongside me, Ian Danter, with full commentary of this game. No goals, Newcastle, Benfica or Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, and tonight's other Champions League games involving Premier League sides. In the Championship, Hull 2 up on Leicester, Millwall 2 up on Stoke, Coventry lead at Portsmouth, Birmingham lead at Preston, Swindon and Notts County level at 1 apiece in League 2. Those are the goals in tonight's other domestic fixtures from the EFL. And in the Champions League, PSG lead in Leverkusen and Dortmund lead in Copenhagen. Here come Villarreal. Nicola Pepe making a nuisance of himself, running through the middle, but cool, calm defending by John Stones, who just casually puts his thumb up to Donnarumma as he heads it back to him. 1-0 City.
Also sensing the danger. Been in that midfield position a lot, but then just sensing he needed to drop in between Diaz and Guardiola. Just mops up nicely, and as you said, he's always got that calmness, hasn't he? John Stones, never to feel flustered.
I remember one of the first times he got a cap for England, which was just before the Brazil World Cup 11 years ago now, unbelievably. And I remember Jim Proudfoot, we were in Miami for a warm-up game, and I remember Jim Proudfoot saying, if this guy doesn't win 50 plus caps for his country, there's something wrong. And Jim, as usual, proved absolutely right. As Stones is in possession now, plays it to Doku, left-hand corner of the Villarreal box. But again, credit to Santiago Mourinho, the right-back. He got the better of Doku again. Ball drops on halfway, but Mikotadze can't keep hold of it. And it's knocked back to Donnarumma as Blackburn take the lead against Sheffield United. That's 22nd, playing 23rd in the Championship. Yuki Ohashi, the Japanese midfielder who should have scored on Saturday at Coventry, has put Blackburn ahead. He's got no win in 4 going into tonight. Villarreal trying to set Pepe away down the right-hand side, and he'll get there. Mikotadze and Buchanan trying to join in the box. Pepe, right-hand corner of the area, lays it back to Papagay, gives it back to Pepe, who's being watched by Guardiola. 4 or 5 yellow shirts waiting for a cross. Gay now brings it in field. Great shot, it's only just wide. Goodness me, he gave that a fearful clatter, did Papagay with his left foot. Donnarumma at full stretch. I'm not sure how far wide of the post that was, but a fearsome hit. That was very, very close from Papagay to give Villarreal an equaliser.
Oh, you know it's close when you can see the shadow of the ball on the post as it passes. That's how close it was from Papagay. I think it was meant really for Nicola Pepe to have the attempt from that right-hand side, but instead it found its way back to Papagay, and he really swung his left boot through that, caught it beautifully, so well the ball didn't even move in the air, it just stayed frozen as it went past Donnarumma's post. I think he would have had it covered. He's just that big, isn't he, Donnarumma? If he's at full stretch, he almost covers the goal.
28 minutes gone, Villarreal 0, Manchester City 1. Erling Haaland, of course, with the only goal of the game. Diaz in the centre circle, just chops it to his left for Guardiola. Again, Villarreal have put pretty much everybody behind the ball. They're on the halfway line with Nunez. Back into the possession of Ruben Diaz. Short pass into Stones, who's trying to draw 2 or 3 Villarreal players out, and it's worked because they've got possession now, City. Stones again, ahead of the centre circle, being pressurised, still manages to keep hold of the ball despite the attentions of Pepe and Partey, and eventually it goes out of play for a throw to Villarreal left-hand side. He's enjoying himself out there, John Stones. 1-0 they lead, City.
Yeah, just once he's given that freedom away from being a centre-back, he gets himself on the ball, he can twist, he can turn, he's got the quality to play through midfield and switch the play. He probably could score goals. That's a mistake.
Given away at the back, and Doku trying to worm his way through a couple of challenges, but Voigt did enough to get it half clear. Clip back into the area, nodded down by Haaland for Doku across the face of goal, and it's kept out from in front of goal. There was nobody there to turn it home for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva manages to swing a crossover from the left-hand side, but it's a comfortable claim for Luis Junior. But Haaland again trying to be unselfish as Voigt was caught in possession by Jeremy Doku just outside the area. But it came to nothing for Manchester City, and they only have a 1-goal advantage on the half hour.
Yeah, his first touch wasn't good enough there, Doku. I think sometimes when it comes to his own opportunities, he is sometimes just a little slow on really knowing what he wants to do, rather than just coming onto that one touch and having a strike towards goal or just bursting through.
Now Pedraza for Villarreal trying to get away into the area, pushed Nunez over. Foul given against the Villarreal left back, who did kick the ball away somewhat annoyed fashion, but no yellow card for that. In the 8 o'clock championship kick-off at Ashton Gate, Bristol City 0, Southampton 1. Adam Armstrong for the Saints, who are 4 unbeaten at the moment after what was a shaky start to the season. And Scott McTominay has scored for Napoli in Eindhoven. PSV 0, Napoli 1 in the Champions League. Manchester City a goal to the good against Villarreal with 31 minutes played. What a run from Nico Gonzalez. He's brought the ball downfield good 20-30 yards, but then he's dispossessed well by Comesaña, and away come Villarreal with the Canadian Tajon Buchanan down the left-hand side, everything to his right. He actually knocks the ball back towards the halfway line where Pedraza keeps it in play. Vega finds Voigt into the feet of Papagay. Now Buchanan again is the target on the left-hand side of midfield. He'll retrieve it down by the corner flag. Up against Nunez, the cross is deflected. Comes out to Papagay, who is fed by Partey. Now Papagay again, who has scored a couple this season. That strike he had on goal, not unlike him. Cross into the box, headed up in the air by Stones, and then Donnarumma claims it right in front of his goal line under pressure from a couple of Villarreal players, should I say. But I think it would have been given as a free kick had anything come of it. Ball just dropped out the sky. And in the end, it was Comesaña who was a bit of a nuisance for Donnarumma. Free kick, 1-0 to Manchester City.
Yeah, just a little thumbs up from the referee towards Donnarumma, just to say that would have been given as a foul.
I've got you.
Yeah. They've just had a little bit of joy, haven't they, Villarreal, in getting the ball out wide into those areas that Manchester City can give you.
Well, of course, this is where Manchester City are being looked at. If we're looking at anything, it's their ability to put teams to bed. Newcastle lead Benfica live on Talksport. Anthony Gordon, I bet they're going absolutely potty at St James Park right now. Newcastle 1, Benfica 0, and Bristol City equalised against Southampton in that 8 o'clock kickoff in the Championship. Anis Mehmeti makes it Bristol City 1, Southampton 1. They were only behind for 2-3 minutes, the Robins. Balls with Villarreal in their own defensive third, knocked back to the goalkeeper Luis Junior, who's kept 3 clean sheets in 6 La Liga games this season, into his 2nd season after his move from Portuguese football. Lovely turn from Buchanan, just shy of the halfway line. He's galloping into space. He's got the legs on John Stones at the moment. Plays the cross into the edge of the area. Heavy touch from Bernardo Silva. Hits it against Pepe, and it drops on the face of goal. And Donnarumma kept it out under pressure from Pepe, who was fouling him, says the referee. But again, nervous moments to the back, unnecessarily so for Manchester City, who lead by a goal to 0.
Yeah, again, it's just allowing the cross to come into their penalty area without much pressure on it from Buchanan, and then a poor touch by Gvardiol, and trying to clear it when Pepe was there. That could have ricocheted straight into the back of the net. It was Bernardo actually with the poor touch, tried to clear into Pepe, and he did foul Donnarumma, who wasn't happy whatsoever. Just grabbed him by the scruff of the shirt.
Any attempts that Donnarumma made to be friendly toward the former Arsenal man were swiftly rebuffed. And Manchester City take the free kick quickly out to their left-hand side. Drilled downfield up to halfway, but it's eluded Doku. And the team all in yellow have it back, and they're starting to grow in confidence, the Spanish side. Right-hand side, a chance for Comesaña to get the ball into the box. It's deflected off the backside of Ruben Diaz, but they still have it, Villarreal. Thomas Partey just clips it to his right for Mourinho. Infield it goes to Papagay. Haaland's back defending. Midway point of his own half. Here's Renato Vega looking out left-hand side for the left-back Pedraza. Now Buchanan with the first-time ball loops into the area, drops on the right-hand side of the box for Pepe. Up against Doku. Infield it goes to Thomas Partey, just clips the ball into the box, headed away by Stones, headed further cleared by Bernardo Silva, back into the box by Van Foyt, but that was a bit of an aimless ball. Back into the box, and it drifts harmlessly from the Manchester City point of view behind for a goal kick, with the score at Villarreal 0, Manchester City 1 on Talksport 2 with 36 minutes played. Dean Ashton.
But as they have done in so many of their games this season, Manchester City, they give the opposition the odd look at their goal. Everton had a few looks at the weekend, obviously Monaco, late goal. They do. Every team at the moment seems to be able to create the odd chance against Manchester City. It just gives the opposition confidence.
Nico Gonzalez fires the ball up to the halfway line. Savinho, quite central, racing through midfield up to the edge of the area, but he couldn't get past Pedraza. And the ball is knocked back in the end. Luis Ujo kicks it downfield. He doesn't want to pick it up in case it's viewed as a back pass by the referee. Bernardo Silva brings the ball out the sky on the halfway line. Neatly done. 37 minutes gone. Plenty of half-times coming in from the Championship. I'll bring those to you as they come. I don't think there's been any goals since the ones I last mentioned. Out to the right-hand side it goes with the City midfield and Savinho. Infield for Stones, but just a foot in at the right moment there from Papagay. Stop Stones getting it anywhere near the penalty area. Nunez has to work the ball back to Donnarumma, and the home fans just start to give their team a bit of encouragement, and City are having to play the ball around in their own defensive third and be quick about it too. But that's lovely football from Haaland, and then a foul on Rico Lewis. No, says the referee. He had his whistle to his mouth but elected not to blow there, Dean Ashton.
Oh, it's a foul. It was definitely a foul.
Now a crossfield ball looking for Buchanan. Poor touch initially from Savinho, but he still got it and he brings it clear. Lewis is on his outside. Savinho is his move towards the edge of the Villarreal area. Now he uses Lewis on the overlap. First time ball to the far post, over the head of Haaland. Doku sweeping in at the far post, doesn't get the purchase on the shot at all. Almost raked his studs over the top of the ball. And Villarreal hurriedly clear out of play for a throw. 1-0 City.
Again, good play from Savinho. Good overlapping from Rico Lewis. He just stands the ball up. It misses Haaland. You're thinking, go on then, Doku. Get hold of the volley. He just hits it into the ground, bobbles it nowhere. And again, it's those little moments that you can improve on.
You're listening to Villarreal 0, Manchester City 1 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Just over 6 minutes to half-time. Gonzalez out to the left-hand side and Doku up again against Mourinho. Been a really good contest between those two out on the City left. On this occasion, Doku elects to go back infield towards Guardiola. Couple of quick goals for PSV, and they've turned it around at home to Napoli. PSV 2, Napoli 1 in the Champions League. Rico Lewis finds Savinho for Manchester City inside the penalty area. Crossing for Bernardo Silva, unmarked, 6 yards out, firm header, 2-0 Manchester City.
He just ghosted in, doesn't he? Bernardo Silva, totally unseen. Everyone's got their eyes on Erling Haaland as Savinho stands up the fullback, waiting for the movement. Renato Vega looking around at his midfield saying, surely someone's got to pick him up. It's the easiest of header, 6 yards out. He just plants his head firmly through the ball, finds the corner with no pressure on him whatsoever. It was a lovely pick out from Savinho, who's been great in this first half. but a simple header by Bernardo Silva.
And you are absolutely correct, Dean Ashton. The Villarreal defence totally preoccupied with where the Norwegian was, and they'd completely forgotten about the Portuguese. Admittedly, one of the smallest men on the field, but it's easy to head the ball into the back of the net when you are unmarked, right in front of goal, 7 yards out. It's his 74th Manchester City goal, Bernardo Silva. Been at the club for 8 years, and just seeing a replay of Pep Guardiola heading it into the back of the net from the touchline as well. Loving that. And City have a 2-goal cushion as we head towards half-time.
And you can see why Vega was so frustrated, wasn't he, in that Villarreal defence, because they've got Erling Haaland covered, and then he's looking at his midfield going, surely one of you've got to track Bernardo Silva. He just waltzes in, totally unmarked.
Well, now decisions going against Villarreal, as Buchanan felt he was fouled as he moved the ball inside from the left-hand side, but it was actually given as his offence against John Stones. Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Inter Milan 1 in the Champions League. Denzel Dumfries, the Dutch international, puts Inter ahead in Belgium. And I'll give you an update on the Championship half-times, because of course a lot of those games are 7:45s. Still no goals Arsenal against Atletico Madrid. Newcastle 1-0 up against Benfica through Anthony Gordon. But in the Championship half-times, Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 0, Derby 0, Norwich 0, Hull 2, Leicester 0, Ipswich 0, Charlton 0, Millwall 2, Stoke 0, Portsmouth 0, the leaders Coventry 1, Preston 0, Birmingham 1, and approaching half-time at Ashton Gate, it's Bristol City 1, Southampton 1. Bayer Leverkusen 1, Paris Saint-Germain 2. So even though Leverkusen got themselves level, Paris Saint-Germain back in front through Desiré Doué. What a talent he is. 2-1 to the Parisians, the Champions League holders. There's Villarreal players already warming up on the touchline, but not at half-time yet. Marcelino must be considering whether to change things around at the turnaround.
And how frustrating to have built up a little bit of confidence in the game. City under pressure slightly, and then you just gift a goal. It's a gift. There's nothing difficult about it from City's perspective. They've been able to walk into the Villarreal half, and then Savinho's picked out Bernardo, who's completely free.
Ball's out on the right-hand side, looking for Savinho, but well intercepted by Villarreal. It might break for Pedraza on the left-hand side, just sails over his head, but it is a Villarreal throw. 2 minutes to half-time. Can the Spanish club do anything about this? We mentioned their excellent home record, both domestically and in Europe, but it's very much under threat here tonight. Manchester City 2-0 up and enjoying themselves. Erling Haaland has scored his customary goal, followed up by Bernardo Silva. Here comes a long throw from Thomas Partey, headed out from the edge of the area by Rico Lewis, but it comes back to Juan Foyt, who hits a diagonal ball up to the edge of the box. That's well defended by Gvardiol that time. Lovely little layoff from Bernardo Silva. He gets it back from Nico Gonzalez. Doku's on his bike down the left-hand side, will retrieve it up against Mourinho once again. He's skated past him this time and then goes to ground with a nudge from the fullback, and that's going to be a yellow card for the Uruguayan Santiago Mourinho. And Manchester City have a free kick as Doku gets the better of his man on that occasion.
Yeah, one of the only 2 occasions that he's got past him is just that extra acceleration, and then he just pulls the shirt of Doku, which is what the yellow card is for, as he was scrambling to get back. Whereas Mourinho, he's done well against him, but just there, that was just a complete foot race, and the acceleration was too much. He had to let him go.
And now he's under pressure for the rest of the game. Having had his booking confirmed by the referee. So free kick after all that to Manchester City, down the left-hand side of the Villarreal penalty area, and about 5 or 6 yards in from the far touchline. Bernardo Silva standing over it, so this is going to be bent away from the goalkeeper, Luis Junior. as we tick round into added time as this free kick is being prepared. Paris Saint-Germain go 3-1 up at Leverkusen. Kvaratskhelia with a third for the Parisians. We're into 1 minute of added time. Bernardo Silva with his free kick down the left-hand side of the box for Manchester City. Hitting at pace and well claimed 4 yards out in front of his goal by Luis Junior. Almost cartwheels as he throws the ball downfield over arm, but he can't find Pepe, and instead City have it back and should be able to play out to half-time without any further drama at the other end of the field. In fact, they might try and add to the score. Here's Rico Lewis finding Savinho right-hand side. Just happy to slow the pace of the game down at this point. And back it goes into the centre circle, and Nico Gonzalez thought about a long ball downfield, but then just knocks it back to Diaz. Nunez now just over the halfway line, becoming more and more attuned to that right-back role that Pep Guardiola has given him. There goes the referee's whistle for half-time, and such an efficient 45 minutes for Manchester City in eastern Spain. Had control of the game long before they took the lead, inevitably through Erling Haaland, firing the ball home from close range after good work down the City right. It was added to when everybody was paying so much attention to Erling Haaland from across from the right-hand side. They forgot all about the City captain, Bernardo Silva, who ghosted in with a free header right in front of goal. Couple of minor scares for Manchester City at the other end, but largely speaking, Dean Ashton, it's been very, very comfortable for Manchester City in this first period.
Yeah, I mean, the respect given early on from Villarreal towards Manchester City was too much. They allowed them too much space on the ball without that pressure on them. They're able to find the extra player and then cutting it across for the super sharp Erling Haaland at the moment, who wasn't going to miss. That second goal will have been really disappointing for Marcelino, the Villarreal coach, because they'd got themselves back into the game. They were starting to ask Manchester City some questions, and then you gift a goal like that. But I think you've got to give credit to City in terms of John Stones coming out of that defensive positions into midfield. That then allows Rico Lewis to get further forwards, and all of a sudden the Villarreal players in midfield think they've got a player. There's that extra one. It was Bernardo who waltzes in and scores the header, and just that extra second goal feels like already it's going to be a very, very tough task for Villarreal to get back into it.
At 1-0 it felt not completely safe for Manchester City, because Villarreal did grow into the game a little bit, but still in all, Donnarumma didn't really have a legitimate save to make, did he?
No, I think they gained some ground. They had a couple of attempts from distance, but never really created a clear-cut chance or tested the goalkeeper. But it still felt like at 1-0 that could happen. At 2, City have just had too much control of the game. You feel, unless there's a big difference after half-time, you would expect them to comfortably go on and win the game.
Well, for the time being, Dean Ashton, thanks very much indeed. We've reached the break then at the Estadio de la Cerámica on the eastern coast of Spain, and it is a bit of a coast for Manchester City, looking to keep this unbeaten run going that currently stands at 8. They are firmly in control on match day 3. The half-time score with full second half commentary to come here on Talksport 2 is Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2.
For my investments, should I pay a flat fee or a percentage fee? A percentage fee will get bigger as my money grows. But Interactive Investor's flat fee will stay the same, meaning I get to keep the money I make. Of course.
It's raining.
For over 500,000 investors, the penny's dropped. Interactive Investor. I think, therefore I. Investment values can go up or down, and you may end up with less than you invest. Other fees and trading charges may apply, separate to monthly fee.
Live only on DAZN October 25th. 2 champions lie in wait to earn a swing at the Ukrainian king. Joseph Parker, WBO interim heavyweight champion, has destroyed the competition. Bacoli, Zhang and Wilder. Now Fabio Wardley, WBA interim heavyweight champion and British knockout powerhouse, stands in his way. Only one will earn the shot at undisputed. It's truly all or nothing. Parker versus Wardley, October 25th. Watch only on DAZN.
Right, what's for dinner tonight? Co-op's new meal range Served takes the hassle out of cooking. Choose from a selection of Italian-inspired mains and sides, and dinner is served for two, all for just £7 for Co-op members. Co-op, owned by you, right by you.
£8 for non-members, ends 20th of October. Co-op group membership required. Selected products subject to availability. See co-op.co.uk/serve.
Buy now with up to 12 months to pay with VeryPay. With VeryPay.
Save up to 30% on selected toys, including must-have toys from Barbie, VTech and Hot Wheels. Get up to 12 months to pay when you shop with VeryPay. Plus, there's nothing to pay at checkout. Search VeryPay today. Very. Let's make it sparkle. VeryPay credit provided subject to status by Shop Direct Finance Company Limited. 18 plus representative, 44.9% APR variable. Offer ends 30th of October.
Where can you get the latest breaking sports news delivered with the laser-like accuracy of Michael Van Gerwen? And hear passionate opinions debated with the confident dexterity of Virgil van Dijk.
The Liverpool fans celebrate.
Answer on the radio show that's got the nation's sports fans buzzing like a Van de Graaff generator. Early breakfast. Weekday mornings from 5 on Talksport with Adrian Flux Van Insurance. Insurance for the individual. Search Adrian Flux Van Insurance to find out more.
From the football-filled favelas of Rio de Janeiro to the soccer-obsessed streets of Liverpool and Manchester, there are many cities across the globe with a burning love of the beautiful game. Listen to Drive all this week from 4 as Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent travel the world in search of the biggest cities in football on Talksport with the BYD Dolphin Surf, the compact electric city car that's built for the big city. Find out more at byd.com.
Every emotion and total devotion.
It's game on. This is Talksport 2.
Get updates on the teams and squads, plus all the latest betting odds. All it takes is just one tap. Kill boredom dead with the Talksport app.
The Talksport app. Hear, watch and scroll unbeatable content from the world's biggest sports radio station. Whenever you want, wherever you want. Available from the App Store now. Terms and conditions apply.
Got an unquenchable thirst for sport? Get up to speed with the day's biggest sports stories with the Talksport hit. Crammed full of the latest team news, big match previews, and discussing the day's hottest topics.
An improvement week in, week out.
Plus, get all the latest results and full fan reaction to the biggest events in world sport.
It's a wonderful goal!
Satisfy your thirst for sports news with the Talksport hit. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The passion, the pain, and the poetry of the beautiful game.
Overhead kick! Brilliant goal!
The Champions League live on Talksport 2.
Fires it out to Savinho. Down the right-hand side of the box for Rico Lewis. Across the face of goal! And guess who? Erling Haaland rifles it home from close range. He scored again!
The Norwegian juggernaut, Erling Haaland. He made it look very, very easy.
There is just no stopping Erling Braut Haaland. Rico Lewis finds Savinho for Manchester City. Inside the penalty area. Crossing for Bernardo Silva. Unmarked. 6 yards out. Firm header. 2-0 Manchester City.
It's a lovely pick out from Savinho. He's been great in this first half. But a simple header by Bernardo Silva.
Yes, Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2. The half-time score at the Estadio de la Ceramica. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you on TalkSport 2. This game being brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Let me update you on what's happening elsewhere in the Championship. Most of the games have gone into the second half. Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 0. Derby County 0, Norwich City 0. Hull 2, Leicester 0. Ipswich 0, Charlton 0. Millwall 2, Stoke City 0. Portsmouth 0, Coventry 1. Preston 0, Birmingham City 1. And Bristol City 1, Southampton 1 has now reached half-time in the 8 o'clock kickoff. In League 1, Reading 0, Northampton 0. And League 2 half-time, well, they're into the second half now at the County Ground. Swindon 1, Notts County 1. In the National League, Boston 0, Morecambe 2 into the second half there. Eastleigh 0, Scunthorpe 0. And York City 1, Boreham Wood on this extraordinary run of 16 unbeaten. They're 1-1 at York City, Boreham Wood. In the Champions League, earlier today, Barcelona thrashed 10-man Olympiacos by 6-1. In the other early kickoff, Kara Almaty nil Paphos. Neil Paphos had a man sent off as well, but held out for a point. And half-time in the other 8 o'clock kickoffs. Arsenal 0, Atletico Madrid 0 at Emirates Stadium. Bayer Leverkusen 1, Paris Saint-Germain 4. A red card apiece in that game. They're both down to 10 men. But Doué with a brace and Kvaratskhelia amongst the goal scorers for the Parisians. FC Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 1. Newcastle 1, Benfica 0. That's live on Talksport tonight. Anthony Gordon slotting the ball home from a cross from the right-hand side to put Newcastle in front against the Portuguese. PSV 2, Napoli 1. Union Saint-Gilloise 0. Inter Milan 2. And here on Talksport 2, we're about to bring you second half commentary where the scoreline is Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2. So you're up to date. More Champions League action on the way tomorrow evening. Our very own Adrian Durham, who's up at Newcastle tonight, well, rather he's at the Emirates tonight, isn't he? He'll be just across London at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea welcome Ajax to West London. Ahead of that game, the Blues boss Enzo Maresca has been reflecting on his side's form in the competition so far, as well as all the injury issues his team have had to deal with over recent weeks.
It's very difficult, especially because many of the injury we had has been the day before the game or 2 days before the game, when we had already an idea about the game. But it's something that we are trying to, to adapt and try to learn. For the players also it's complicated, because sometimes you plan for some players, okay, you're gonna play in 1 week, and then suddenly you need that players because the one that you were thinking to start get injury. So it's something that we are trying to do our best since we start. I think the first game, Bayern Munich away, we lost. We were not happy with the result, but I think the performance we try to play for 95 minutes face to face against a club that in the last 6-7 years they always reach semi-final, final, quarter final. So we knew that was difficult game. Benfica, again, we try to prepare the game in our, to try to win the game in the best way. But when you face this kind of club like Bayern Munich, Benfica, Ajax tomorrow, there are always things that you can learn after the game, and it's going to be exactly the same tomorrow after the final whistle.
Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager there, speaking ahead of the home tie with Ajax. Adrian Durham will be hosting Champions League live on Talksport from 7 p.m. at Stamford Bridge tomorrow. Our commentary games are Frankfurt against Liverpool on Talksport. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Joe Shannon and Troy Deeney will be your team for that one. Whilst here on Talksport 2, I'll bring you live commentary of Tottenham's trip to the Stade Louis II, home of Monaco, with Spurs looking to bounce back after that home defeat to Aston Villa on Sunday. They'll be hoping for big things tomorrow from their summer signing Xavi Simons, who has struggled to make an impression as yet. But the Spurs boss, Thomas Frank, is fully supporting the Dutchman.
A very good player, just like Xavi, a very good player, coming into a couple of things: new country, new club, new city, just need to settle in. And it is part of it, we're all getting judged every game, but we also need to see the little bit bigger perspective and see it over time. And I always look for glimpses and bits and pieces we're working at. So, for example, Xavi, I think there were some good bits and work with him and ask him to be more arriving in the box, which when I looked the game back, he did. Was that the big eye-catching moment? No, but there was good glimpses. So I think it's constantly going a little bit in the right direction.
So you can join me and former Benfica and West Ham defender Scott Minto tomorrow night here on Talksport 2 for full commentary of AS Monaco against Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League. And you're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. The Villarreal players emerging from the tunnel. There's some important goals going in the Championship right now. Blackburn Rovers 1, Sheffield United 1. An own goal from Axel Henriksen has put Sheffield United level at Ewood Park. Ipswich 0, Charlton Athletic 1. Sonny Carey for the Addicts, who won 3 out of their last 5. They lead at Portman Road. And Derby lead Norwich by a 1-0. David Ozo, on loan from Crystal Palace, has the Rams ahead at Pride Park. So some important goals going in in the Championship. We are your home of the EFL. We'll have more live Championship football for you coming up on Friday evening. Preston against Sheffield United will be our offering here on Talksport 2 on Friday night, with Leeds against West Ham live on Talksport at the same time from the Premier League. Coventry have a second at Fratton Park. Portsmouth 0, Coventry 2, and it's the second of the night for Brandon Thomas Asante. There's a change. Sergi Cardona is coming on for Alfonso Pedraza for Villarreal. That is like for like. Cardona is a left back, wearing number 23. Coming on for Pedraza, joined last year on a free transfer from Las Palmas. I think that's the only change that Villarreal have elected to make at the change around, chasing a 2-goal deficit here. City full of beans, I should think, although you never quite know what Pep Guardiola might be saying to them, what sort of attitude he's had with them at half-time, whether they should be more ruthless and should be further ahead. You can never quite tell, Dean Ashton.
No, his standards are always there for his players. Never lets up. That's why he's been the best, and they have been as well. And no surprise, really, actually. Pedraza on that side was really struggling, and City were getting more and more joy with Savinho and Rico Lewis. So Cardona is on.
And that would appear to be the only change from either side at half-time. So I'll run you through the lineups in a minute. Manchester City in their dark green change strip are attacking the goal to our left as we look. Villarreal in their traditional all-yellow. And City line up with Donnarumma in goal. Nunez, Diaz and Guardiola in a back three. Stones helping out Gonzalez and Lewis, and Bernardo Silva in midfield. Savinho and Doku on the flanks, with Haaland pushing through the middle. As for Villarreal, Luis Junior, the goalkeeper, Mourinho, Foyt, Vega, and now Cardona in a back four. Buchanan, Comasagna, Partey and Gay across midfield. Pepe and Mikotadze in attack. A second for Charlton Athletic at Ipswich Town. Macaulay Gillespie making it 2-0 to Nathan Jones' men. Ipswich heading for back-to-back defeats after 5 unbeaten. It's a bit of a stutter for the relegated Premier League side at Portman Road tonight. So we played a minute and a half since the restart. And settling down again as Manchester City bring the ball up to halfway with Josko Gvardiol.
I think just a little mention actually to Bernardo Silva with his goal, which he doesn't get many of nowadays. He plays a different role, more central, more deep, getting involved, but at the age of 31 covered the most ground in that first half of any player on the pitch. Still a massive amount of enthusiasm to work.
Away come Villarreal down the left-hand side of the area. Mikotadze trying to drive it across the face of goal, but back came John Stones to just nestle in amongst that back four to get it out of play for a throw-in, which has been taken quickly. Cross into the box, but Nico Gonzalez can afford to take a touch to settle himself and then drive it downfield. But he can only find Renato Vega. Blinking, he'd have missed his time at Chelsea, but he was there, but never quite got that regular spot in the Chelsea starting lineup. Renato Vega at the back. 2-0 to Manchester City, and the ball's back with Donnarumma. Threads the ball through the eye of a needle in between two Villarreal players as they converged upon him, and the ball's knocked in field. It's good work by Nico Gonzalez in the end. I thought he'd lost possession there, and now Doku looking to go on the outside of his man, just gets away from Mourinho for the moment. Remember, Mourinho's on a yellow card. He's got to be careful. The right back in this second half against the live wire Jeremy Doku. Swindon 1, Notts County 2 in League 2. Notts County 3 straight wins, so they're heading for a 4th. As things stand, Alassane Yatta with another goal for the Magpies. And forward come Manchester City with Nunez into the area, cleared away by Vega up to the halfway line, and a lovely cushion header under pressure from Ruben Diaz. gives City the ball back. Gonzalez finds Bernardo Silva and Rico Lewis now. Touch it out to the right-hand side. Savinho, Haaland and Silva waiting for the cross. It's clipped to the far post. Doku's in there, but it's palmed away by Luis Junior, and he's going to try and get to the loose ball, and does just before Haaland jumps on top of him. 2-0 City.
Yeah, but that's what you need from your goalkeeper, a bit of anticipation as to where that ball's going to land, and Junior just getting across, helping his defenders out, but they can't just give the ball away so cheaply, Villarreal. Give it back to City.
Buchanan for Villarreal. He's got Cardona making a run on the outside. He picks it up now, level with the 18-yard line. Tucked in field for Papagay, who had that fizzing drive in the first half just wide. Thomas Partey swings it out to Pepe on this near side of Villarreal right. Now it's tucked back in field. Kept in play by Mourinho. Now Papagay again, quick feet from him, goes down, but he's been dispossessed legally by John Stones, says the referee, and then there's a foul on Doku. And that buys Manchester City a bit of time as they have a free kick inside their own half. Approaching the halfway line, and we've got 5 minutes gone in the second half. It's 2-0 to Manchester City. Dean Ashton.
And what they won't want, and Pep Guardiola won't want, is this to get difficult. It doesn't need to. They're so in control. They just need to keep pressing forwards. They'll create chances. They'll hopefully get the third goal. But don't make it a game that you look back on and think, why was that so difficult?
Yep. Well, they were 2-1 up and seemingly heading for 3 points in the Stade Louis II a couple of weeks back. And that did not go according to plan in the end. But they're very much in control at Villarreal. 2-0 up, and they've won a throw, have they? It's been given as a Villarreal throw, actually. Almost as if the Villarreal players dared the referee to give the throw the other way. Ball's just shy of the centre circle with Thomas Partey. Out it goes to the left-hand side of Buchanan, who I assume will be at the World Cup with his native Canada next summer as part of the squad. Talksport 2 will be there in North America. That expanded World Cup tournament, with the likes of Cape Verde making their World Cup bow next summer, which is fantastic news for a country that have never been there before. 2-0 to Manchester City, 6.5 gone in the second half. Stones playing with such grace and ease at the moment. Nothing appears to be too much trouble for John Stones on nights like this. Completely unruffled by what's around him.
He might have to play that role properly in a moment, because Nico Gonzalez is struggling. He got a stamp on the toe. He's been hobbling ever since.
We all know that these football boots that players wear these days are wafer thin. It doesn't take much to put pressure on the foot. There's a yellow card that's been issued to somebody on the Villarreal bench, I think, for a bit too much back chat towards the officials. And here's Stones again. Actually gets dispossessed that time. There were 2 Villarreal players around him, but the ricochet fell kindly for Nunez. Villarreal set to play Barcelona abroad in this initiative that's seeing La Liga games being played in the States, which has not gone down well, Dean, with Spanish football fans. There was a game in the weekend where the players stood still for 15 seconds after the kick-off in protest at the idea. Here's Nunez for Manchester City, playing the ball into the box, looking for Haaland, but Foyt and Papagay between them deal with it, and there's a push on a Villarreal player as they bring it clear.
No, and I can understand why they were not happy. Obviously, Courtois in particular was very vocal. And I think there is news coming out that may be actually postponed.
Dean Ashton on top of things, as usual. Yeah, according to reports, plans to stage that match between Barcelona and Villarreal in Miami are being put on hold. There's been enough pushback. It can happen. European Super League? Nope. game's been played abroad. Nope.
No, I like that. It's good. The game's about the fans, isn't it?
We'll keep you in touch with that story throughout the night, of course, over on the Sports Bar from 10 o'clock, or just after 10 o'clock in actual fact, on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 3-0 to Charlton at Ipswich. Miles Leaburn, son of Carl Leaburn, gets the third for Charlton at Portman Road. Not a good night for East Anglia because Norwich are a goal down at Derby. Ipswich 3-0 down at home. Boy, oh boy. Good adjustment from Charlton Athletic back at Championship level under Nathan Jones. That'll be 4 wins in 6 for the Addicts. Things stay as they are, as I think we can assume that they will. Villarreal play a long ball downfield, but it's aimless. There's nobody able to give chase. And Nunez has all the time in the world to go and collect the ball for Manchester City from the edge of his own penalty area. And Nico Gonzalez has gone to ground. You mentioned it earlier, Dean Ashton, that he's been having trouble with his right foot ever since it was stood on by a Villarreal player. I
can almost hear the listeners in my ear. It's his toe, man. Get on with it. Come on. But honestly, if you get that stood right on the toe, it is so painful, especially with the boots they do wear now. It doesn't give you the protection that there was, certainly when I started playing, and you could see straight away it affected him. And do well to carry on, I think, with that.
Well, there you go. You straddled the eras, didn't you, Dean? You had the period where boots were a bit more sturdy, and then technology changed, and so you changed as well. Presumably you didn't stay with the old style football, but you went with the trend, you went with the fashion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Gone with the all black dubbined boots, and in with the white ones to make me look faster.
Go faster stripes down the side. Mateo Kovacic is going to come on for the stricken Nico Gonzalez, who's grimacing as he's hobbling off the field. Well, Pep Guardiola will hope that is just a temporary thing and not anything too serious for Gonzalez, because we were only talking about it before kickoff, how well he played against Everton on Saturday in Rodri's absence. He's been very important, but now it's up to Mateo Kovacic to anchor the midfield as Gonzalez goes off.
Yeah, let's just hope it's a toenail that disappears, as it happens to us all, and nothing more than that, because he's been good in this game as well. There's been a couple of moments where he's burst through midfield to open up some space.
2-0 here to Manchester City at Villarreal on Talksport 2 with 56 minutes played. Doku now in the wars, being caught off the ball. In the Championship, Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 2. They've come from behind of the Blades to lead at Ewood Park. Harrison Burrows with 20 minutes to go. Blackburn haven't won at home all season. Their only wins have come on the road. And Sheffield United, just trying to pick things up a little under Chris Wilder, have the lead in Lancashire. Play back underway here at the Estadio de la Ceramica. Here is Bernardo Silva, who scored City second, working the ball in field to Lewis. Now Doku, level with the 18-yard line, tries to go beyond Foyt. Went to ground, he thought he was fouled. He holds his arms out to his side to the referee, imploring that he was caught. But the referee says, no, that's a goal kick to Villarreal. What do you make of that, Dean Ashton?
That's a foul. I think the difficult part of being a referee with Jeremy Doku is he does things so quickly. You might not be sure. You might not be sure that he's got himself away, he's taken that touch, because he does things so quickly. I don't think the referee actually had a good view of it either. He was quite far behind play.
PSV 3, Napoli 1. Dennis Mann with a third for the Dutch club. Nicola Pepe down the right hand side for Villarreal, trying to drag the ball in field. He's level with the 18-yard line under pressure from Gvardiol and Doku. Finds Papagay, who floats the ball out to Cardona left hand side, volleys it across the face of goal. Faded everybody in yellow, but picked up again by Pepe, right hand side of the area. Comes into the box and runs into Doku, who nicks the ball off his toe and tries to bring it away, but then he's tricked. One back by Mourinho. Here is Papagay, little no eyes pass to find Partey, and Pepe can't get it across the face of goal from the right-hand side. Again, Doku has it, chips it up to the halfway line. There was no one there. Haaland was in field. But then Villarreal make a bit of a haulage of trying to bring the ball back under control. And it's out of play as Arsenal take the lead against Atletico Madrid. Gabriel makes it Arsenal 1, Atletico Madrid 0 at Emirates Stadium. So all three Premier League sides are ahead now, with Newcastle live on Talksport right now, still a goal up on Benfica.
Set play, we think?
Another mural for the set piece coach. It must be worth about 3 or 4 of those murals now, the set piece coach. I mean, after that, he's probably cracked one in from 35 yards, hasn't he? Yeah, we've said that. But anyway, they all count 1-0 to the Arsenal. They had a debate on Drive tonight. Are Arsenal guilty of playing ugly football? Surely all that counts is winning football. Here's Stones for Manchester City. City, a side that rarely play ugly football. Here is Savinho cutting in field with Nunez. Finding Kovacic. No, it's gone across to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva out to Doku on the left-hand side. Back in field it goes to the Croatian Kovacic. Bristol City 2, Southampton 1 in the Championship. That's an 8 o'clock kick-off. Scott Twine. I'll bet you that one's from 35 yards. Because Scott Twine does not do tap-ins. As Bristol City get themselves in front. They were behind in that game against the Saints in the Championship this evening. Rico Lewis for Manchester City turns and runs over the halfway line. City are 2-0 up on the hour and looking very, very comfortable. Tucked out to the right-hand side, and Savinho. Haaland just prowling at the edge of the area, not making a run at the moment. In fact, he's directing operations behind him, not really bothering to make a run for his winger.
No, I think what he's saying is that he needs a little bit of support to just take one of the defenders away from him.
Well, here they come, finding Haaland at the edge of the area. Tries to check onto his right, but he got crowded out by 2 or 3 Villarreal defenders. But it's won back by Jeremy Doku. And he got caught in 2 minds there, Jeremy Doku, between a cross and a shot, and ended up rolling the ball through to the goalkeeper and not finding Haaland, who was trying to make a run from the 18-yard line. 2-0 City.
But he was obviously arguing and demonstrating where he wanted the players to be, but he comes alive again once the ball comes near him, Erling Haaland, and just couldn't quite get that onto his right foot to strike. And as you said, defenders got back very, very quickly on top of him.
2-0 to Manchester City. Hull City 2, Leicester City 1. Midway through the second half of the MKM, Aaron Ramsey gets Leicester City back into that Championship encounter. So at the moment in the Championship, Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 2, Derby 1, Norwich 0, Hull 2, Leicester 1, as I've just mentioned, Ipswich 0, Charlton 3, Millwall 2, Stoke 0, Portsmouth 0, the leaders Coventry 2, Preston 0, Birmingham 1, and Bristol City 2, Southampton 1. Here's Bernardo Silva, who scored Manchester City's second goal in that first half. Finds Kovacic driving forward into the centre of the Villarreal half. Now Nunez takes over, slightly infield, out to Savinho, right-hand side. Nunez has gone again for the return. Tries to clip the ball into the air, it's blocked, but comes back into Nunez's path. Swings the ball to the far post, it's flicked away from the attentions of Doku, but Bernardo Silva picks it up. Plays a 1-2 with Doku, then plays it back infield to Kovacic 30 yards out. Nunez has come in field, finds Kovacic once more, who looks for Savinho, right-hand side. Trying to isolate the left back. Got into the area, Savinho. Can he get it past the keeper? Good save by Luis Junior. He's putting it behind for a corner kick when Savinho had made such a smashing run into the box. But the finish was denied by the keeper. Corner kick to City, 2-0.
Oh, he's been outstanding, hasn't he, all game, Savinho? Just bypassed Cardona. Couldn't do anything whatsoever. And then the pace of him gets him past Veiga. Well, Junior comes out brilliantly. He's really sharp off his goal line. He needs to be. Spreads himself. It comes off his inner thigh and behind for a corner. Really good goalkeeping that to get out as sharp as he did.
But it is a corner to Manchester City. But I think, in fairness to Luis Junior, I think he caught that ball amidships, as they might say. in the unmentionables, so he's having a bit of a magic spray. Yeah, he needs to count him, because I think he definitely caught that where he didn't want to catch that flick left-footed effort from Savinho.
Oh, the perils of being a goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, but you've got to keep it out, whatever you use to keep it out. Swindon equalise at home to Notts County 2-2. Aaron Drinan again, his second goal of the night for the Robins to level it up. Swindon starting the night in fourth, with a bit of a mixed record of late under Ian Holloway, but they're heading for a point against Notts County, who aren't far behind them in the fledgling League 2 table. Right, Luis Junior is okay. Corner can now be taken by Bernardo Silva. Right into the crossbar, and a comfortable claim by Luis Junior. And he got balked a little bit there by a Manchester City defender, and the yellow card was issued. Was that Ruben Diaz that got caution there?
He just wants to play quickly, doesn't he, Junior? And it is Diaz. There's not a lot he can do, really. Junior's that desperate to get away. He just shoves his way through, gets a little shove from Diaz, and yellow card, all a bit silly.
So 25 minutes to go. Manchester City are 2-0 up against Villarreal on match day 3. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Changes being made by Marcelinho. Buchanan is coming off for Villarreal. And so too is Mikotadze, who's had a quiet night. Malero and Oluwasei are coming on to replace them. So Malero, who joined for 13 million from Las Palmas in the summer. He's the striker. In fact, they're both strikers, really, because Tano Oluwasei joined from Minnesota for about 7 million in July. And he scored 1 goal so far in his 8 appearances, Oluwasei, in La Liga against Sevilla. So will these changes make any difference to Villarreal, who are still 2 goals down here against Manchester City, who are making a much better fist of it this season in the Champions League, Mega League, than they did last year, when they snuck through in the end to make it through as one of those 24 teams, but only to come up against Real Madrid in the playoffs and get walloped.
Well, what they can't do, Villarreal, is just let this game just drift till the end and make it easy for Manchester City. So you're hoping the changes give them a bit of a lift. Again, you get that one goal back. You just don't know. You just got to try and put some pressure on this City defence.
Arsenal 2, Atletico Madrid 0. Gabriel Martinelli with a second for the Gunners. Reading lead Northampton in the League One game tonight. Kelvin Erbachman puts the Royals in front, and Bristol City 3, Southampton 1. Another for Scott Twine, his second of the night for the Robins. Here come Villarreal trying to get forward into the area, and it's so nearly broke for Comasagna in front of goal, but City did enough. But it goes out played for a Villarreal throw. Are they going to get a second wind here, the Spanish team? Ball lobbed into the box. Maybe a bit of concentration required at this point from those wearing the dark green shirts of Manchester City, Dean Ashton.
Well, like I said, they've given teams opportunities. They've conceded goals this season when they shouldn't have, and still shown signs of those frailties of last season, albeit very much improved. And again, there'd be no need for this game to become difficult for them. They've been just so dominant.
Absolutely. You're listening to Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you. And tomorrow night we bring you a choice of Champions League commentaries across the network. Eintracht Frankfurt against Liverpool, late arrivals in Germany because of a delayed flight today. That's 8 o'clock on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2, Myself and Scott Minto will bring you commentary from Spurs' trip to the Principality of Monaco to take on AS Monaco, who got the 2-2 draw against Manchester City on the last match day. Here's Haaland trying to bulldoze his way through the middle of the pitch, but then he runs into Mourinho, who come across from right back, barges him over, and that's a free kick to Villarreal. But just watching Haaland pile drive his way through midfield, it's almost like watching Jonah Lomu in his early days playing rugby union for New Zealand. Just can't stop him.
Cardona there was the one casualty, wasn't he, as he tried to step across.
Now down the left-hand side of the box, a chance for a cross for Villarreal, looking for Pepe. It's just sailed over his head, but he'll keep it in play on this near side, the Villarreal right. Comes in field, plays a short pass to Papagay, across to Partey. Thomas Partey wants of Arsenal up to the edge of the area. Slap shot from Malero, was blocked by the backside of a City player. Comes out again to a Villarreal player. It's driven wide by Van Foyt. Quite a well struck shot, but it was a good 5 yards or so wide of Donnarumma's left-hand post, and it's a goal kick to City, who lead 2-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, difficult to refuse that opportunity when it opens up so nicely for Van Foyt. Like you say, great strike. Not nearly the direction needed to test a goalkeeper of that calibre, but it's been a good 5 or so minutes for Villarreal.
20 minutes to go, forgive me. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2, and they've given it away here, Man City, to the edge of the area. Papagay with another firm strike, this time beaten away by the gloves of Donnarumma. Comes out to Comasagna, right-hand side of the area. Gay again. To the dead ball line, tries to clip it back, headed away by Guardiola. Partey keeps it alive, holding off Haaland, plays it to his left. Vega out to the left-hand side, first time cross into the near post and headed wide. Oh, what a chance for Villarreal to reduce the deficit. But the header is wide. Donnarumma was statuesque, but it ends up being a goal kick. 2-0.
You've got to take those chances against the likes of Manchester City. It's opened up once for Papagay on the edge of the area. He struck it beautifully, as we know he can do. Donnarumma patted it away, but then when it was recycled back out to the left-hand side, it's a brilliant cross in from Cardona. And there's Nicola Pepe, free header, trying to guide it towards the near post. Just couldn't quite get his angles right, and should have given Villarreal an opportunity there.
Change is being made. Jose Perez wants of Leicester and Newcastle coming on for Villarreal to replace Comasagna. Oscar Bob is coming on for Manchester City. So too is Tijani Reinders. Players going off. I think Rico Lewis is one of those going off. In fact, he's just very slowly jogging his way to the touchline. Newcastle 2, Benfica 0. Harvey Barnes with 20 minutes to go over on Talksport at St James Park puts Newcastle firmly in control, and Arsenal further clear 3-0 against Atletico Madrid. Victor Gyökeres gets the third. Boy, oh boy, did he need that goal. So change is made with Oscar Bob and Reinders on for Manchester City for these last 18 minutes or so. Still 2-0 up as they were at half-time, but Villarreal have just won the ball back from Reinders. His first bit of possession sees it taken off his toe by Thomas Partey, and now Pepe trying to make a run into the box, and Guardiola, cool as a cucumber, knocks it back to Donnarumma. 4-0 Arsenal now, another for Victor Gyökeres, who scored 2 in 3 minutes there at Emirates Stadium.
Happens so often, doesn't it? You get that one goal and it then suddenly feels really easy. The next one comes along.
So Newcastle 2 up, Arsenal 4 up, Manchester City 2 up. And tomorrow night, Chelsea, Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur all get their turn in the Champions League. Adrian Durham will host our Champions League coverage on Talksport from 7 p.m. at Stamford Bridge, where we'll keep you updated on Chelsea Ajax, but our two commentary games tomorrow night are Eintracht Frankfurt against Liverpool on Talksport, here on Talksport 2. I'll bring you AS Monaco against Tottenham Hotspur with Scott Minto alongside me. And then we've got games from the Europa League and Europa Conference League on Thursday night. Go Ahead Eagles against Villa at tea time here on 2. Forest under new management against Porto at 8 p.m. on Talksport. Whilst in the Conference League, Palace take on AEK Larnaca at the same time, 8 p.m. here on Talksport 2. Just over a quarter of an hour to play. Villarreal win the ball back on halfway. What a foul. As down went the Villarreal midfielder, Jose Perez, but that was not seen as a foul by the referee, and instead City have it back with Oscar Bob down the right hand side, clipped in field. And now there's a free kick given for a challenge on Kovacic, and the locals won't like that because they felt they should have had a free kick before. And now there's another yellow card being flashed in the direction of a Villarreal player.
I think it's just
Thomas. No, it wasn't Thomas Partey that brought him down, was it? It looked like Jose Perez had a little shove at him.
Unless it was something that was said.
Could be.
Not too sure.
It could well be.
Didn't seem much, did it, from Perez?
Not at all, just the slightest push in the back. Maybe it was a bit of dissent that led to the yellow card, because it didn't look like the yellow was flashed in Jose Perez's direction. Wait for full times to come in the Championship. I'll bring you details of full-time scores as they occur.
And you just wonder whether that was the chance for Villarreal, that Pepe header.
Felt that way.
It just felt as if they'd have got that, they could have really gone on, made it difficult for City.
It was Gay who got that yellow card, incidentally, not Jose Perez. That's been confirmed. Probably for a bit of back chat. So, 14 minutes to play. Villarreal have been awarded a free kick just inside Manchester City territory, left-hand side. Luis Junior, the goalkeeper, has come forward to take this from inside the City half of the field. City holding a high line 25 yards out, diving the ball up to the edge of the area. Haaland heads clear, only as far as Partey. Guides it down for Malero, out to the left-hand side. Transfer across into the box, 3 waiting for it. It's sent in, up go the heads. It's cleared away, only to the end of the area and volleyed over the top by Pepe from 10 yards out. Just couldn't keep it down as it dropped out of the sky. Another chance goes begging for Villarreal. 2-0 City.
Yeah, it was a decent ball in, wasn't it? We're on that far side, just whipping it in, headed out by Gvardiol to Nicola Pepe. I'm sorry, you've got to do better. It's not a difficult volley. It's not come at you quickly. It's not come out the sky from too high. It's just on his favoured left foot. Just keep that down. Just hit it into the ground if you have to. You can't just blaze that over the way he did there on the side-winding volley. It's a big chance.
Never really got the goal return at Arsenal, did he? 27 goals in just over 110 appearances for the Gunners. Nicola Pepe came in a free to Villarreal when he went out to Trabzonspor post-Arsenal. That was another hard chance for Villarreal to put something on the scoreboard and give Manchester City something to think about for these closing 13 minutes. Inter go 4-0 up at Union Saint-Gilloise. Francesco Esposito with the fourth for Inter. Meantime, at the Estadio de la Ceramica, it is 2-0 to Manchester City, 3-1 to Sheffield United at Blackburn Rovers to seal the points. Tyrese Campbell with the third in stoppage time for the Blades. City in possession with Nunez, works it out to Oscar Bob, right hand side of the City midfield. Reinders and Haaland waiting for a cross. Bob lays it back to the edge of the area. Kovacic gets right underneath the effort and lifts it way over the crossbar from the edge of the box. Goal kick Villarreal, 2-0 City.
Yeah, we know he's technically capable there, Kovacic, of hitting the target. as it came back through him from Oscar Bob. But like you said, just got right underneath it, didn't have that whip with his body over the ball.
Villarreal play it long downfield, but their players had come short. The ball sailed over their heads and into the path of Ruben Diaz. Plays a pass with John Stones, who I've enjoyed watching tonight in this slightly more advanced position in front of the back four. Out to the right-hand side it goes for City. Tucked in field for Kovacic. Knocks it back for Diaz, who almost trod on the ball, almost allowed Oluwaseyi to nick the ball off him, but he kept his footing well enough in the end. Now a free kick for City's been awarded bang on halfway. Chance for them to keep possession and keep Villarreal frustrated. 2-0 City lead as we move into the last 10 minutes of the 90. Long ball downfield, picks at Haaland, brings it down with his left and strikes with his right, straight at Luis Junior. Some venom in that strike. If that had been half a yard either side of the goalkeeper, that would have been 3-0.
Yeah, because the takedown was beautiful from Haaland. Ball got played into him. The first touch was exquisite. The second was pretty good. Like you said, just too close to the goalkeeper.
Chance for Villarreal at the other end though. Malero keep it in play, left hand side. No, he can't. Just tricked himself once too often there down the left hand side, and it's out of play for a Manchester City goal kick. But Erling Haaland found the crossfield pass from Mateo Kovacic, brought it down with the top of his left boot, let it run across his body, firmly struck with his right foot, was straight at the goalkeeper. Another change coming up for Villarreal, and it's going to be 36 years young Daniel Parejo who's going to come on for Papagay. He's going to take the captain's armband as well, edging towards 250 appearances since he moved from Valencia in 2020. QPR fans might remember him having a loan at Loftus Road way back in 2008. So he's on for the last 10 minutes to try and help out in midfield, having replaced Gay, who came as close as anybody really for Villarreal tonight with that thumping left-footed drive in the first half that whistled only just wide of Donnarumma's right-hand post. Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 3 in the Champions League. Felix Mecha gets the third for Dortmund. So Arsenal 4 up, Newcastle 2 up, Manchester City 2 up. And less than 9 minutes to play. Ayoze Perez can't make it through the City back line. Holds onto the ball and they bring it clear. Long ball downfield asking for City players to give chase, but Luis Junior came flying off his goal line and cleared it out of play for a throw-in. And Pep Guardiola still asking for more from his players, still screaming and shouting and never completely satisfied. That's what drives him on, I guess. Guardiola gives it back to Diaz. Just to his right is Nunez. Villarreal pushing up downfield, forcing City to go back to Donnarumma. There's a short 1-2 with Kovacic, and then plays it again as he waited for a Villarreal player to try and close down the space. Now away comes Guardiola, turns inside his own half just to keep it away from trouble. Little ball in field for Savinho. Now Haaland making a run towards the edge of the area. They're backing off him. He goes for the third. That's a brilliant save from Luis Junior. That was destined for the bottom corner from Erling Haaland, but Luis Junior plunging to his left, had other ideas and got fingertips on it. Corner City, who lead 3-0.
That's an outstanding save. That's what it is. Because he just shimmies a couple of times, Haaland, as if he's going to shoot. And then the ball goes through the defender's legs, which makes it so difficult for Luis Junior, but he gets down so well to his left-hand side. Such a powerful hand to keep the strength of the shot out of his net.
What it does mean is that City have another corner. Be a left-footed in-swinger from Bernardo Silva. Haaland Haaland and Gvardiol standing next to each other around the penalty spot. They split as in it comes from Silva. Keeper comes out, tries to punch clear. Actually hit his own man. Villarreal should head it clear of danger, and then Reinders is penalised for a pullback on the shirt of Perez. And that'll be a free kick to Villarreal. Less than 7 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2 on Talksport 2. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you tonight.
Yeah, it's been one of those nights where it's been not that many beads of sweat expended by Manchester City. What you would want travelling away from home in the Champions League, getting through the game with very little fuss, as they have done so far at least.
Yeah, home ties against Dortmund and Leverkusen to come next in the Champions League for Manchester City. They will have 2 wins and a draw to show from their opening 3 fixtures. In truth, it was late on in the 8-game group stage that things started to come apart for Manchester City last season. Ball played into the area but cleared away. PSV 4, Napoli 1. Dennis Mann with another for PSV, and Portsmouth get a goal back late on against Coventry at Fratton Park. Portsmouth 1, Coventry City 2, Mackenzie Kirk. Derby have beaten Norwich by a goal to 0. Swindon 2, Notts County 2 is a full-time score. Ipswich 0, Charlton 3 is also a full-time in the Championship. Newcastle have a third in the Champions League against Benfica. So 4 for Arsenal, 3 for Newcastle. Harvey Barnes again for Newcastle United. Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 3 is a full-time score in the Championship. So the full-time starting to come in domestically as well as in the Champions League in the next few minutes. You're listening to Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. And Omar Marmoush has come on. Savinho and Haaland have come off, and Ryan Cherky also getting a run out as well in the City midfield. 30 million quid from Lyon, Ryan Cherky. Has been injured at the start of this season.
And I think that's what Pep Guardiola will want. Will have those players coming back from injury just to freshen things up and not have players like Haaland maybe having to play the 90 minutes.
Ruben Diaz kept the ball well inside his own half, and away go Manchester City. Long run downfield looking for Marmoush, and he just fired into his feet and he just couldn't control it. He just saw the ball ricochet off his boot and well out of play for a goal kick to Villarreal. But they do look like they're ready to try and get more goals, Manchester City. Although Villarreal have won themselves a throw in their own defensive third. So yes, Dortmund and Leverkusen to come at home for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City in the Champions League. Remember, after that sluggish start in the Premier League where they lost those back-to-back games, they're now only just behind Arsenal in the running at the top of the league table.
Yeah, you'd expect them to be there or thereabouts this season, Manchester City. And they've come up against a side tonight in Villarreal that aren't regularly used to being in the Champions League, and that level of quality that's there now in the competition.
Great run down the right-hand side from Nunez. Plays a little 1-2 with Oscar Bob. The Norwegian has it back now. On that far right-hand side, Bernardo Silva, the captain, just flicks it back to Nunez. Kovacic infield, 3 minutes to go. 2-0 to Manchester City. Can they get a third and really set the seal on this victory? Bernardo Silva again, down the right-hand side of the box. Plays it back infield. Chance for a shot on goal. Maybe Reinders tucks it out to the right-hand side. Bob's made a run. Plays it across the face of goal looking for Marmoush, but it was well defended by Voigt. Cleared away by Villarreal. They're asking Pepe to give chase. Awkwardly sent back to Ruben Diaz, to Donnarumma by Ruben Diaz. And City give away a corner to Villarreal with 2 minutes to go. As Stoke have lost 2-0 at Millwall. That's a full-time score from the Den. excellent performance from Alex Neil's Millwall, who started the night in 6th place. That result puts Millwall 3rd in the table, just behind Middlesbrough, who aren't playing tonight, and Coventry, who look set to win at Portsmouth. Here's the Villarreal corner, and it's headed off the post and stays out. Was it Thomas Partey that got the header in? Well, goodness me, you heard the post rattle from the downward header, and Manchester City keep their 2-0 lead.
Well, it's a brilliant delivery in towards the back post and the 6-yard line, and the header downwards is exactly what you would have wanted. And when you look's not in, it's not in. That would have just made for a difficult end to the game for Manchester City.
Just clattered against the upright, halfway up the post, and bounced away to safety from the Manchester City point of view.
Oluwase, I think it was, that got the header in. They were so crowded in there, and all of a sudden he just rose the highest to head that down and against the post.
Chance again for Villarreal to get a cross in, but just couldn't catch up with the ball there. Malero down the left-hand side. PSV 4, Napoli 2. Scott McTominay gets another for Napoli, but it looks like it's in vain tonight with the way that PSV have played tonight. Coventry have beaten Portsmouth by 2-1. Birmingham have beaten Preston by 1-0. And we're into 4 minutes of added time at the Estadio de la Ceramica, where it remains Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2, as it was at half-time. Donnarumma with a goal kick downfield. I think the only championship full-time we're waiting for is from the MKM, where Hull were 2-1 up against Leicester City, heading into the latter stages. Stays like that, Hull would go above Leicester in the table, on to 18 points and be just outside the playoff positions. Quickly taken free kick, looking to get Omar Marmoush away from Manchester City, but Mourinho, who's had a torrid night up against Doku at first and now up against Marmoush, toe ends the ball behind for a Manchester City corner in the first minute of added time. PSV 5, Napoli 2. No sooner do Napoli get a second, PSV go at the end and get a fifth with Ricardo Pepi. And Borussia Dortmund have a fourth in Copenhagen. They lead 4-1. Fabio Silva with the fourth. Short corner for Manchester City between Cherki and Marmoush. Work back in field to Guardiola. Now into the centre of the half, and Matheus Nunes. Out to the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva scheming his way towards the right-hand corner of the box. Wants to get the cross in, but instead it's played back in field. They're just content to keep ball here, Manchester City, in added time. 2-0 to the good. Here is Oscar Bob, tucking the ball back towards the halfway line. And now Ruben Diaz, midway point of his own half, plays the ball across to Donnarumma, and further across to the left-hand side, and Guardiola plays the ball along the deck to the feet of Marmoush. Tries to lay it back to a teammate, but it's been won back by Villarreal. Ayose Perez trying to get the shot away from inside the box, but swung at it wildly, went nowhere near on target. More frustration for the home fans. 2 minutes gone of added time, 2-0 Man City.
But again, they have given Villarreal chances. They're giving the opposition chances. It's still not been a great defensive display for Manchester City. They will go on and win the game. It's felt very comfortable for long periods, but still there are signs of vulnerability there.
But comfortable enough in most senses for Manchester City, who will be back in Premier League action on Sunday when they go to Aston Villa. Hull City have beaten Leicester by 2-1. That is a full-time score. And then Manchester City have a trip to Swansea City a week tomorrow in the EFL Cup. Getting the ball clear, City, from the edge of their own penalty areas. Villarreal had plenty forward. Now it's brought downfield by Cherki, looking to release Marmoush through the middle. Keeper comes out and clears out of play for a throw, and his PSV get a 6th against Napoli. Cool. Penny for the thoughts of Antonio Conte. as he sees Kouab Driouet make it 6-2 to the Dutch side tonight in the Champions League.
They lost, didn't they, to Union
Saint-Gilloise. Yeah, that's right.
In the match day 1, and then go and beat Napoli.
Not just beat them, wallop them. Napoli, who lost 2-0 at Manchester City on match day 1, they did have a man sent off early in that game. I don't think there's been any red cards in that game tonight. Copenhagen get a consolation back against Dortmund. That's now Copenhagen 2, Dortmund 4. Lots of goals around in the Champions League tonight. 2 here for Manchester City. The full-time whistle goes, and Pep Guardiola's unbeaten run stretches to 9 games as they comfortably see off Villarreal by 2-0. Erling Haaland yet again finding the back of the net early in the first half. Bernardo Silva with a free header not long after put City 2 clear. That was the score at half-time, and they were rarely extended in the second half. Donnarumma had a very quiet night in the Manchester City goal. It's a good night's work for the citizens in the Champions League, Dean Ashton.
Oh, it was, yeah. There was some real good signs early on. They were just so sharp with their passing and movement, and caused Villarreal problems with the early goal for Haaland, and then a super cross and a good header from Bernardo Silva. But then in the second half, felt a little bit sticky at times. There's still those frailties from last season defensively. I think they can improve in that department still. Obviously no Rodri. Nico Gonzalez going off with an injury also, but he'll be pleased, Pep Guardiola, with the likes of Cherki, Marmoush, Kovacic all coming back into the picture.
The only slight blot on the copybook was the injury to Nico Gonzalez. We don't know how serious that is, but with Rodri out, Pep Guardiola could ill afford to be without yet more defensive midfield stalwarts. But it could just be, as you say, it's like bruising on the toe or the top of the shoe. We'll see how that pans out. But I say that because Gonzalez looked so good on Saturday against Everton. He just appeared to be playing himself into a bit of good form.
Yeah, and that was the issue last season. They were just being ran through in that midfield area. Teams were targeting that for Manchester City. Gonzalez is coming as that cover for Rodri, who's obviously back fit but now struggling with another injury. So it's an area of the pitch that they need those players to be fit.
Bayer Leverkusen 2, Paris Saint-Germain 7, brackets SEVEN, close brackets, Vitinha with the 7th for Paris Saint-Germain. We are absolutely rattled with goals tonight in the Champions League. Arsenal have beaten Atletico Madrid by 4-0 at Emirates Stadium. Couple for Gyökeres tonight, which will do in the power of good. 2 for Harvey Barnes as Newcastle have beaten Jose Mourinho's Benfica by 3-0 live on Talksport at St James Park. And you got PSV 6-2 up on Napoli, Inter winning 4-0 at Union Saint-Gilloise, Paris Saint-Germain winning 7-2 at Leverkusen, Dortmund 4-2 at Copenhagen. Absolutely mad night of goals in the Champions League. But Bernardo Silva playing the captain's role tonight. One of 4 changes, one of 4 players brought back into the side. Isn't that the brilliant thing? That Pep Guardiola can bring somebody like Bernardo Silva in to a starting lineup, having rested at the weekend, and he just helps to run the show.
And he does, but as I said, in that second half, in the first half, he'd ran the most of any player on the pitch. He still gives you that incredible work rate, and that desire to get on the ball and want to play and want to create, and he can score goals. He's shown that in his Manchester City career. It was a lovely, deft header from him into the corner after he made a really clever run behind Erling Haaland to almost hide behind him and then just appear to head it into the back of the net. So a good performance from him. John Stones looking very impressive as well in that midfield role also. There was so much to like about the first half performance in particular.
Well, with all of that in mind, Dean, I think it's high time that I asked you to pick your man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Okay then, Dean Ashton, over to you. You've just eulogised a bit about the captain and the centre-half pushing into midfield. Where's your vote going?
I think a bit like you, I really enjoy John Stones' performance. I think we don't see it as often as we did maybe last season or the season before, with him stepping in to that midfield area, and he pretty much stayed there for most of the match, and he just shows what a great footballer he is, what a brilliant football brain he has. But technically he is as good as a midfielder when he's on the ball. His array of passing, his awareness of players around him. I thought it was a really classy performance from John Stones.
There you go, John Stones, our man of the match, Here For It hero, with our friends at Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here For It. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
So let me round up the scores from tonight in the Champions League. Earlier today, Barcelona thrashed Olympiacos 6-1 and Kaira Almaty 0-0 with Paphos. Eviros, goals galore tonight in the 8 o'clocks. Arsenal 4, Atletico Madrid 0. Bayer Leverkusen 2, Paris Saint-Germain 7. Both sides had a man sent off in the first half. FC Copenhagen 2, Borussia Dortmund 4. Newcastle 3, Benfica 0. That was live on Talksport tonight. PSV Eindhoven 6, Napoli, who had a man sent off 2. Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Inter Milan 4. And here on Talksport 2, as you heard it, Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2. And just to confirm the Championship full times, Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 3, Derby 1, Norwich 0, Hull City 2, Leicester City 1, Ipswich 0, Charlton 3, Millwall 2, Stoke City 0, Portsmouth 1, Coventry 2, Preston 0, Birmingham City 1, and Bristol City 3, Southampton 1. Final thoughts from you, Dean Ashton, on what we've seen tonight?
A comprehensive Manchester City performance, back to where we'd expect them to be, and making life a lot easier, it seems, in the Champions League this season.
Dean, as always, thank you for being with us tonight as part of our commentary team. Don't forget, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will be coming up on Talksport in the next 15 minutes. The lines will be open for you to have your say about Manchester City's performance. 03717 2233 44. You can also send Jason and Jamie a WhatsApp voice note with your reaction to the very same number. Coming up next here on Talksport 2 is an episode of On Track with John Jackson with all the latest motorsport news. But the full-time score in tonight's game in the Estadio La Ceramica was Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2.